Hi, how's it going? In this video we're looking at one of the scariest films I've ever watched, and it's Australian, so you know it's good shit. Let's talk about Umbrella's release of Lake Mungo. I'm being dramatic. Ah! Alright, having just rewatched this fucking beast of a movie, I highly recommend it, whether you get the collector's edition or not. So, out the gate, this is a great release. I love this film. I've previously owned the second sight release, which was, UK exclusive. I don't know if there was ever a US Blu-ray. I think DVDs maybe with the weird artwork they used. But this, you get this beautiful hard case, 120 Australian dollars on the Umbrella website, exclusive, of course, to their website. It has a very interesting design to it. If you've seen the film, you can kind of understand the choice of the front cover. It's going for the beautiful kind of vistas of Australia, Ararat in particular, Lake Mungo, where part of the film is set, you've got a couple of the cast here. You've got an image actually from the film, the dad, the brother, and the mother walking away. And I think that's a good symbolic image just out the bat of what they're going for here. This is a beautifully creepy mound face. And again, if you've seen the film, you know what this is going for. It's a dead person, let's put it that way. I'm not going to spoil the film, but it is a ghost movie, and someone is dead. And that's a pretty dead-looking person. So it's not really one you want to display on your shelf like this. But it's noteworthy. So as you can see, it's empty right now. So let's take a squiz at the insides before I talk about the video and audio and the one special feature I watched, which was the 3.5 hour long documentary. You can obviously check the timestamps down below and jump to it if you don't want to get the unboxing treatment. Hooray! Now, with most Umbrella limited editions, they give you a little slip on the back, which obviously has a little goop. And this details all the special features, all the stuff that you get, double-sided poster, a couple of books, one that's some photos from the film, one that's a script. It's number 234 of 8,000. 234, I never realised how important that number is to me. That was my old home address, 234. Anyway, of 8,000, it's a 177:1 aspect ratio, 5.1 plus 2.0 DTS master audio, Dolby Vision encode in color, 87 minutes long, 3 discs, the third disc being the 3 hour and 45 minute long documentary and all of the extra interviews all featured on that. Comes with a brand new commentary with critic and filmmaker Chris Stuckman, so if you want to get Stuckmanized, hey, you can get Stuckmanized. As well as an audio commentary by producer David Rapsey and cinematographer John Brawley, as well as hours of never-before-seen footage, behind-the-scenes rushes, original auditions, rehearsals, found footage, a selection of scenes from early cuts of Lake Mungo, deleted scenes, the original Lake Mungo mood reel with introduction from producer Georgie Neville and cinematographer John Brawley, Dead Girl Rise, Alexandra Helen Nicholas on ancestors and legacy of Alice Palmer. I wonder how many references anyone's going to have to Twin Peaks, because if you like Twin Peaks, you'll like this. A lot of Palmers, a lot of electricity, a lot of weird images and shit. The legacy of Lake Mungo's interviews with filmmakers, ghost stories with Pat and Ararat locals, experiences with the paranormal, and Ararat, which is where the film is set, an ambient journey through the film's locations, Ray and Matthew on the road, a trip with psychic Ray Kameni through country Victoria, and of course Lake Mungo revisited, an extensive 4-part experience, and a trailer. Holy shit, there's so much special features, I don't have time, fuck. My favourite thing I think that this comes with is a recreation of one of the original scripts, let's put it that way, because even from the documentary, this is featured in the documentary, with the coffee stains and all the extra text and writing. You do have constant notes and everything written into it. This is, as one of the producers quotes, is basically exactly what Joel did. Like, he would add all kinds of notes and stuff during the script. It's a very interesting script. They said in the documentary especially how it's the kind of script that's just like, it was so unique they kind of had to make it as a movie. Again, it was even one of the producers who worked on it was saying how the script itself was actually originally like a lot bigger when Joel Anderson, who wrote and directed the film, originally made it, that it was like so fucking big. But there's so much to put into this film because it is a fictional documentary, a mock documentary, but also it's not like a comedy, so I wouldn't really call it mock. It's just mock because it's fake. But it's a really well-produced film that make it look like a documentary. The amount of work they put into this film is kind of incredible, and I really appreciate the documentary for highlighting that, from how they cast everyone and everything to the actual production design and everything, and being like, man, they got to put in so much stuff to make it look real, to make everything look real, from all the behind-the-scenes footage, from all the VHS stuff, from all the old photos. Fucking nuts of a film. You get Matt's photos. This is highlighted in the film where he basically has an interest and partakes in photography, and clearly he did, because they took a lot of photos. So for a long time they were taking photos during the production, and they've just got it all here printed in this book. So I think that that's like a nice effort that highlights the level of production that was in such a small budget film, but also the fact that they kept all this stuff. None of it like highlights ghostly stuff, or you're not going to get like Easter eggs or anything from it. At least I haven't noticed anything myself from looking through the book previously. But I'll leave some suspense for the audience for when you buy it. But it's nice. It's a good, nicely produced book, and it's just images. You don't need it per se, but I think it gives the film that extra essence of realism, which is good. That's kind of what you want from something like this. Realism. Ghost movie. And then you get this. This is, I feel like something bad has happened. It hasn't reached me yet, but it's on its way. This is a book about Lake Mungo. It starts with a selection of images from the start of the film, the ghostly imagery that they utilize to show the start, before it eventually goes into essays. This one is Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Spectres of Sadness, and Joel Anderson's Lake Mungo by Matt Gladsby. It doesn't, unfortunately, have a table of contents, but it does have a large selection of things from, you get denegation of the undead in Lake Mungo by Kevin Fisher. All these are a couple of pages long, nicely produced with some images from the film, showcasing the room, showcasing the layout of the house, which is nice, because the layout of the house is pivotal to the nature of the film. Lake Mungo, A Picture Never Lies by cinematographer John Brawley from April 1st, 2011. So they've got a large selection of images taken throughout the film, and a lot of these are highlighted in the film itself. So that's the family photo album. You get with some text, the cinematographer talking about the actual shooting of the film. It's, again, very in-depth with its stuff. Photo album. I don't think there's much else after that. There's just more behind-the-scenes. Production design notes. Like I said, there's no table of contents. But I liked it, because in the film they blur out the kids' faces in this image. And also rewatching the film, realizing why that image is so important. There's a lot of those. I think there was one shot in particular. Oh, are they going to show it? There's so many shots, so they clearly shot a lot for this film. Is it in here or not? I thought it was. There is a very important shot in the film that I'm pretty sure was featured in this book. It might be featured. Shit, where is it? I can't find it. But it's not important. It's a creepy film, and I'm still getting the shivers, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of the shots where if you're looking for ghost kind of stuff, this is the kind of book you want, but it also shows you just some nice behind-the-scenes stuff. I hate that image. I hate it so much. It's so fucking creepy. And it's not even shown in the film. Oh my god. It's like one of those, there's so much on the cutting room floor kind of stuff for this film. I really want to look through the behind-the-scenes stuff, but it's going to creep the crap out of me, and I hate ghost films. I love them because they're the only films that scare me, but holy shit. Ha! And of course, then you get what is equivalently your standard release, which comes with this very nice slipcover, creepy enough as it is, with a nice creepy image on the back. So it has Lake Mungo written on the front and sides, and it says, "If you've never seen a ghost, look closer." So that's the slipcover to this. This is the reversible art. The main one has the classification sticker, rated M, spooky scaries and whatnot. You get your 4K disc, you get your Blu-ray disc, and you get your extra Blu-ray disc, which is the Lake Mungo Revisited. And, of course, you get your poster, which is a double-sided poster, highlighting two things which I do like. Firstly, the original Australian artwork, I should say, not the American artwork, which is very good in terms of artwork. And this, which is the artwork that is utilised on the wraparound for the box set, which gives you more of an impression of what it's going through for, I should say, in terms of its landscape design. It's very nicely creepy. Obviously, I would pose the original artwork if I was to pose it at all, but let's jump into the video and audio. In terms of video quality, the film looked incredible. And this is a very funny film to say that it looks incredible, where half of the footage is like, I don't know, VHS quality stuff. In terms of bitrate for that, it would be between the 30 to 60 mark, depending on the quality of it. Some of the outdoorsy shots were stronger in bitrate. The shots shot on film were in the 80s to 100. They'd usually be around 84 to 88. There was no issues with any of the quality of the print. Even the cell phone footage, the more notorious footage in the film, still looked really good for what notoriously looks really bad, highly pixelated and everything, but it gives you the perfect effect, and that's what they were going for. So I had absolutely no issues with the video quality. I think it's the best it has looked, but my only comparison was the previous release from Second Sight, and even the Second Sight release was really strong, but this does come with the additional, was a Dolby Vision encode as well. Audio-wise, I listened to the 5.1 track, and I had no issues with that. It's the kind of soundtrack where you'll get music, you'll get dialogue, and you'll get some really weird sound effects, which constantly sound a little glitchy, a little weird, but it's deliberate. There are a couple of scenes that have a very specific design like that as well, and it encapsulates it really well. It gives you this great feel that you're watching a documentary, but when you get to the really spooky stuff, it will purposely amplify that audio to some degrees. Like, oh, here's a shot with a ghost in the background, we're going to zoom in on that, and then like someone slamming the keys on a keyboard, on a piano, just when they've stopped the image to be like, look, there it is, there's the ghost, except it's not that dramatic. Nor is the audio that dramatic, but I had no issues with the audio, so from Umbrella, I would definitely give a huge props to the video and audio department. It sounds and looks incredible. They didn't try to make the shitty looking footage look good, which is great. Even having watched the documentary, the Lake Mungo Revisited, seeing those shots pre the added filters and stuff, it looks a lot more interesting than this, and it's really interesting watching that now, seeing how they've made a lot of those shots, especially the shots that are meant to look eerie and ghostly, and you realize, oh, that's how they made it. They just did this. They've just added a VHS filter on that shot. They would just have the girl just walk in front of the camera and just stare at it, and then sometimes look in different directions and stuff, and then they just add a filter and make it look layered and make it look weird, and it gives a beautiful creepy effect to it. Much like even in the film, there is a photograph that's taken where Alice is implemented into the image, which eventually is revealed as a kind of Photoshop thing, but pre-Photoshop, and it has that kind of effect to it. But it still looks really good, and it's beautifully eerie and beautifully creepy. So, at least in terms of a video and audio quality version of this release, I highly recommend it. So, yeah, in terms of special features, the only one I did dive into was the Lake Mungo Revisited, the extensive 4-part experience, which is 3 hours and 45 minutes. I gave the documentary on its own about 3.5 stars. It is very long, but it's a kind of long that's fuck it, why not, that let's just let it be as long as it is. It benefits because it's on its own disc. It has a bunch of extra special features, which are basically just extra extended interviews. One in particular with Mike Flanagan, which is the first option, is 45 minutes long. Some of that was implemented into the feature itself. I imagine that was the whole interview they did with him. It even has cue cards of what questions they've asked him. So they still have edited it to make it still interesting enough as an interview by itself. So if you want to just highlight his reaction, or some of the actors, some of the other directors and whatnot that they interview, they have that as extra little features, which is nice. It means that they don't make the documentary itself too bloated, but because they've done this all on Zoom, for the most part, some of them were were on location filming, you can just do that, What can I say in terms of my thoughts on the film? I gave it 4.5 stars. It's the second time I've watched it. Like I mentioned, I gave the documentary 3.5 stars. because it's very long. As much as it gives you a great amount of information and everything, and you don't really want anything cut from the documentary, it does feel very long. The film itself is the complete opposite. It's 87 minutes, and by the time you get to the 82-minute mark, the narrative is done. It's just credits and a couple of sneaky images put into the credits to like highlight certain elements you might have missed, which is wonderful because I remember one particular image showing how one image that's a lie is actually the truth, and when I see it, sort of the image happen a second time, I paused it, walked up to the screen, and it's just like, I can see it. I can see the spookies. It's a very well produced film by Joel Anderson. I wish that he had contributed more to this release. It's kind of disappointing that he's very distant from the film. They note that a lot in the documentary as well, but to my knowledge, this is like kind of director certified. Like he's happy with this release and whatever, with its picture and audio. And to be fair, it is a good release. It's a beautiful box set, and I love that they put so much effort into the kind of design of this set. In terms of my thoughts on the film, I love this film. It's slow and creepy, and it gets to a stage almost like an hour in where it feels like it's resolved itself until the big secrets start coming out, and that's where it just fucking, everything collapses, everything just falls out at you, it just throws itself at you, and it doesn't stop until it's done. It's terrifying, but also not constantly. Like, it's not trying to be constantly scary, it's not doing jump scares or anything. There is one. It's very effective, and I forgot the way that they edited it, so there was a particular style to how they edit it that made me forget how it was going to happen, which is really funny, but it is one of the creepiest images I've ever seen in cinema, and I think that's what most people would say about this film. It has one of the most effective jump scares you'll ever see, and you don't expect it, because by the time it happens, you kind of do expect it, and then you think it's happened, and then it happens. It's great. But in terms of like the characters, in terms of the performances and everything, it's really well delivered. All the performances, all the characters feel real. They feel lived in, and it's so deliberate for everything that happens in this film. There's even like one part that's just so very minimal to the plot that I forgot it even happened in the plot. And I only watched this film 2 years ago for the first time. I think it was 2023. And rewatching it thinking, oh, I forgot about those characters, and then I remembered why I forgot about them, and then I remembered, oh yeah, because right after this other thing happens, and the snowball effect begins. But yes, I think if you're looking for a paranormal, ghost-like film that is a mixture of what if The Conjuring wasn't consistently scary, and also, well, still just the same amount of lies, and paranormal activity. You know, it has so many mixes of both, but like it's going for documentary because it technically is, whilst also not being. So maybe The Conjuring's a bad example, but it's a ghost film. You're not going to expect things to move around. Like the ghost isn't fucking throwing shit around the house or whatever. Like, don't expect that kind of stuff. It's much more like neutral. It's much more subdued in how it's telling its story. Again, it's a documentary, and it kind of goes from there. The scariness just kind of starts amplifying as it goes along through its unique imagery. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It is one of my favourite Australian films, and as someone who is Australian, it's always good to have a favourite Australian film. It's one of them. It's maybe my favourite Australian horror film, as my favourite Australian film is, of course, Love Serenade, also released by, in the past, Umbrella. But I highly recommend this release. I highly recommend this film. Simple as that. As an overall, I think that this is a really good set. The collector's edition set, it's really interestingly designed from its artwork. It's a really beautifully creepy film. To a degree, I don't know how you would have changed the artwork if you want to be critical of the way the box set looks in particular. Obviously you do have the second sight release where it has a very different style to it, but it kind of seems a bit too Ghost in the Woods kind of, whereas this, I think, feels more appropriate in a way. The box set itself is still really nice, you know, you get your natural gloss and everything, you get the image that is still circulated in both the film and the documentary, and again, you get the book, you get the script, you get the photos that Matt took throughout the film. It's good stuff. You get the double-sided poster. You can't go wrong with an Umbrella collector's edition like this. Like for me, 120 Australian dollars, worth the price alone. Because unlike a lot of boutiques where they go over glossy with a lot of the stuff, and it kind of feels very useless. This stuff always feels really well implemented, really well curated. So feel free to check out Lake Mungo. I highly recommend it, whether you get the standard edition or you get this beautifully creepy box set. And I'll see you next time. Adios.